Well, good evening, and welcome again to the 2012fad.com. I will be your host for the evening. My name is Charlie Bluehawk. Last night we talked about where does my money go? People are asking what happens to their money after they invest in the Village project here in Central Europe, the thing that I've been designing now for the last 40 years, I'm sad to say. And so tonight I thought we would chat about something called tribal instinct. Tribal instinct is, in part, I guess, of our herd mentality, the cattle-like ability we have to follow a leader into hell and never come back. But it also means understanding that you are part of a community, a neighborhood, a tribe. Now, our masters know this very, very well. I mean, they have been herding us for more than 5,000 years now, and they understand the basics of such things. The only thing that saves us, really, luckily for us, our masters of today are not the geniuses, the masterminds who cooked up this plan hundreds, if not thousands, of years ago. In their quest for the great plan, the great work, they've managed to dumb themselves down in the process. It's not terribly surprising when you rape and torture your own children, you mind control your own children, that the quality of the breed is going to go down a smidge. Now, why would anybody, whether you're cattle or the 2% solution, as I call you and me, why would anybody deliberately go down the great work and destroy themselves? Well, actually, my guess is they're probably following the orders of the people they serve. And I use the word people sort of generically here, because our masters, in fact, have masters of their own. Someday, when I'm feeling braver, we'll actually get into that, because it's quite horrifying and quite disgusting, actually. But tribal instinct, for us, for you and me, is knowing that you are part of a community that lives or dies together, that you are an integral part of a living organism. It's like the cells in your body. Each of your cells is unique and specific and does a specific task in a specific way. And every 7 years, if it had enough oxygen and enough magnetic field and enough nutrition and wasn't filled with poisons, it would make every 7 years a perfect duplicate of itself, and it would die. And yet, even as our cells die constantly, you and I are still here. We are still us. It's part of the community, if you were. Now, back when the United States was still almost a country, the U.S. Army in the 1940s understood and used the concept of tribal instinct because it's natural to all humans, whether you are part of the cattle or, again, part of the 2% solution. It's who we are. It's the knowledge of where we fit in as individuals, as human beings, into the community and contribute to the community the best way we know how. Now, the masters know that if we discovered this tribal instinct in ourselves and came together as a tribe, as a community, it would be absolutely nothing to us to wipe them out, to destroy them without a second thought, simply get rid of them, take back all of the trillions of dollars they've stolen from us, seize the great underground cities they've built with our money that they built when they left us behind to die. To be part of a community means that you know who you are. It means that you know your history, you know where you came from. And of course, as we know, the masters go to a great deal of trouble to wipe out our history, to wipe out who we are. So again, another great fear our masters have of us is that we might actually discover that we are people, part of a community, part of a tribe, and that we can look at them, the masters, and say, we don't need you, and get rid of them. Because there are, after all, millions of us to every one of them. So the masters know it's important when you're trying to control your herds of cattle, us, you've got to keep them frightened. You've got to keep them separated from one another. You must put them in a box so they can be identified, labeled as being different. And as we know, different is scary. So what is tribal instinct? Well, as I mentioned before, the U.S. Army back in the 1940s knew about tribal instinct and they used it. They studied it. They'd take a group of men, soldiers and officers, remove all rank insignia. They were just guys at that moment in time. They'd put them on an island in the middle of a river, and they would give them this kit bridge. It's a bridge that they used to use, they could build in a war zone and cross a river with you, your tanks across rivers and things. So it was a kit, it was a bridge kit. And no food. And they were given one simple order. Look, you guys put this bridge together. You got no food. Dinner's across the other side of the river. If you want to eat, we'll see you there. So they got no food, and they know this big feast is waiting for them on the other side of the river. Sort of an incentive. I can appreciate that. All they had to do to get to this feast, to have a meal, was to work together as a team, as a tribe. Assemble the bridge and go party. No one on this little island of men was allowed to say what their rank was or what their skills were. But there's a goal. I want to eat. There's a bridge. I got to build it. I got to get across this river. Okay, what do? This is where nature steps up and takes over. Some people are natural leaders. They saw the problem. They started to organize. Some people are natural engineers. They opened the crates and began to pull the bridge parts together, see where everything fit. Some people are natural followers. So they follow the directions the leaders gave and guided by the engineers. And then not too long after, kit bridge is built, assembled, and everybody goes across the river to eat. So what, you ask? So everything. In a real human community, a tribe of people, each of us, when the time comes, would see what work needs to be done. We know we can do it, and we simply do it without being asked. Some people are natural leaders, and they would see the skills in others and start to direct them in a group for the benefit of all. Some people just like to do hard work, get the job done, and be content to let others make those big decisions. Now, is any of this beginning to sound at all familiar? So, what would happen if we have tribal instincts? We see the work that each of us can do that others can't. We as a community, as a group, as a tribe, we'd be putting our homes, our cities, and our world back together, one neighborhood at a time. We don't need the masters. We can do this ourselves. But since the masters know this, and they are cowards, they need to put us each into artificial boxes and we're told, no. You can only be what the label on the box says you can be. At that point, we're just cattle. It's one of the things that we will be relearning at the village. That we are a part of each other and that together we can achieve anything. And, because you already know, we have a plan. Please have some plan of your own. If you have neighbors, this might be a good time to step out of your box and go meet them. Better to meet them now as potential friends rather than later when they are starving and you have food. So, again, for all of us here at the 2012 Fad, this is Charlie Bluehawk, wishing you a really good day and reminding you, please, keep that good thought.